C for regular use, 10 BC if you're hauling hazmat. Make sure that it is properly mounted and secured. Check the gauge on there, make sure it's fully charged. Check the card once again, make sure it's fairly fresh. No more than 5 years. We will then do a 3-point mount. Next thing, I check underneath the pedals. Make sure that there's no debris that would interfere with the full and free operation of the pedals. Check my seat and adjust it. Oh, you're here. There you are. Oh, that's not good. All right. Anyway, well, some of these are designed for midgets. All right, check my steering wheel. No more than 10 degrees free play. Check my mirrors. Make sure that they're clean and properly adjusted to the truck. From that point then, I will check the seat belt, properly mounted and secured. Make sure there's no cuts, no frays, no sign of wear. Make sure it locks and unlocks from the locking mechanism on the other side. Next thing I want to do is I'll do a safe start. Clutch in, make sure I'm in neutral. All right, the engine is starting. While everything is charging up inside, check my windows, both the side ones, make sure they're clean. Check the seals, make sure there are no cuts, no frays, no signs of dry rot. Check my front windscreen, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No obstructions or illegal stickers placed on here, which also causes obstruction. Next thing I do is I check my gauges. First of all, I have my oil temperature gauge. Should be climbing to a proper operating range under 200. Check my oil pressure, my coolant temperature gauge. It should be slowly climbing up somewhere between 150 to 200. Check my engine oil pressure. Make sure that it's up in operating range between 40 and 60. Check my voltmeter. Make sure it's running between 12 and 14 volts. 12, I need to change the alternator. 14, I need to check and see what's wrong with the alternator and with the charging lines, because if it's going over 14, it's overworking the alternator. Check my tachometer. Should be running between 4 and 6. Check my speedometer. It should be reading 0. If it's above that, it needs to be fixed. Check my 2 air gauges, primary and secondary. They should be climbing up to between 120 and 125. Check my fuel gauge. Make sure that I have enough fuel to do what I plan to do this day. Check the brake thing. The brake air measure tells how much pressure I'm putting on the brakes. Check the pressure gauges that deal with the airbags in the truck. If I have a cargo, it should be up fairly high. If I don't have cargo, running about 20 or 30. All right, at this point here, I then check the heater, and then swing it over and check the defroster. After that, I check the wipers, make sure that they operate properly, and the window washer, make sure it's operating properly. And I check the air horn, city horn beep, air horn honk. At that point then, thank you. At that point then I'll check my lights. Put on the headlights, high beam, low beam. Then I'll check the turn signal. Right turn signal, left turn signal, 4 ways. Then I have someone go out to the back and they'll also check my brake system, or the lights in the back. Once again, are they on? Right turn signal, left turn signal, 4 ways. After doing that, put my foot on the brake for a second, make sure the brake lights light up. Once those lights are done and I've reached 120 to 125, I then do a tug test. I then place the unit in the first or second gear. I'll push in the red button. That means I'm going to be checking out the truck brakes. I lift the clutch gently. I'm not touching the fuel. Lift the clutch. Once it starts to grab, that's the tug. All right, I put it back in, pull out the red one, push in the yellow one. Now I'm going to check the trailer brakes. Lift gently on the clutch. I'll feel it tug, put it back in. Now at this point here, I can pull them both out or leave it as is. I then turn off the engine, release the clutch, kick the power back on so I have power to the dashboard. All right, from there, I'll push in all the brake lines. That will and I'll listen to it hissing. Once it's done, that means all the lines are equalized. Put my foot on the brake, hold it down hard for 60 seconds. Should not drop any more than 3 psi for a single, no more than 4 psi for a combination. Once that's off, I release it, check my air pressure, then start fanning the brakes. Between 60 and 80, my low pressure alarm and light should come on. I stop, check, see where it's at. If it's above 60, that's fine. If it's below 80, that's fine. Now I fan again. At this point here, I'm fanning it down to between 20 and 40 psi. At that point, these pins should pop out. They can pop out simultaneously. They can pop out one, then the other. So long as it's above 20 psi, that's fine. At that point then, I will put in the clutch, take this out of gear, do another safe start, come back up, put my foot on the fuel a little bit at roughly about 1,000 RPM. Air pressure should get back up to at least 100, 120 in less than a minute. And if it does, and at 80, all the alarms should go off. Once we've gotten it to 100 psi, I take my foot off, turn off the motor. That completes the in-cab and the lab test.